ne mi mono. Mama, grandma, lo me ma, da lo ne ma o, lo me ma, da lo ma, lo mo ye, unu na mi we lo ne mi mo, ngabade bobo, da lo ne mo ngabade bobo, da lo ne mo ngabade bobo, e kuna ngaya lo bobo. Ewa, wana ewa, Nuna mi we lo momie, e kuna we ngalo ne mi mo, ya lo ne mo ngabade bobo, ana de bona o ga egina, ana de bona o ga egina. Ewa o ana ewa, lo ne mo nuna mi ye, lo ne mo nuna mi ye, lo ne mo nuna mi we la boga egina ye. Ne wera boga yakina ye tono egana longega nyanga ana egana longo garenye dua longo bo anama dua longo bo ana ele ngabemwe ana ele ngabemwe yakuna longo miwa ena we ngalonde mima yalonde ma ngawade ibobo Alone among my day, Bobo. Ana elo, Ewala, ana ewa, ewala, ana ewa, ana elo, egawa, yenawe, lomo miwa. Kuno na mwiwe lo ne mi moe ya dem anga bate ibobo ana kwetu mo ana adopanywe ana go adopanyo malongo na wasamyo Sambela juwa ba walongo engana kwale kamombo kabalo ne kubo ewa ana ewa lo ne manu na ye ana ewa lo ne manu na ye Nuadanga onganwa Daona duale ngabemwe duale kuna moge nuderubo Dabalie dulinyangela Dieka ngabebo agelo demo Dabamwe dali ba mongwalo Gayele li bateo Gayele li ba wolongo Dale nyarela dugo mongwebu Nyangwe da mongo prie Nyanga duba dugo monukwe Kedale ya malungwa wo bobaleye kweraga yetebo bobaleye kweraga yetebo ya moyo ke ya mo papa mema malone bobaleye nga ya mo papa baleye nga ya mo papa baleye nga Nwedanga delu molebo Da denga ba denga ma yango dia de dia ke ya ba longwa we ya no wa bo vale yenga kwera ga ye de bo ewa ana ewa lo ne manu na muye lo ne manu ewa
Good evening. Please welcome to the show this evening. I'm Alfonso Ziensort of the Liberia Public Radio 10 LPR-TV, taking you to Greater Liberia, Banga this evening. If you're from Bon County, this show is dedicated to you. That's the beauty of the Liberia Public Radio. Welcome the Honorable Willen Congley Sr., as a 4-month lawmaker of Grand County, Republic of Liberia, out of course, Mosaic, our primetime viewer, Shout out Olivia Cooper. Good evening, Jeremiah Young, Wyndham Brooks. Jeremiah Roberts is in the hall. Paul Jala. Good evening, welcome. I hope somebody from Brown County can give me the interpretations of this music yet. Notwithstanding, we're going to have a conversation right here. This is LPR, All Things Considered, with Alfonso Zienso. Welcome to the show.
Wale kuna mbega elo ne upa, wale na mbega elo ne upa, alo mayanga yele kamoba, alo maye yele beniba, abalo nebo abale yenga, abalo nebo abale yenga.
What a beautiful music, keeping the culture of Liberia alive, right here on the diaspora. Welcome to the show. The legendary Samuel Abu. Do you know this one here? Can you give me the interpretations of Breakstone Harriets? Good evenings. Let's take you to Bon County, Greater Liberia this evening. With all things considered, democracy and the process has been stalled, opposition crying fire at their own expense. These and many more, you're going to be part of this conversation right here this evening in today's editions of All Things Considered. We said welcome to the show, and I'm Alfonso Zienso of the Liberia Public Radio and LPR-TV. Thank you so much. Just do us a favor, hit the share button, and invite someone. Let someone be at your company here as we're about to discuss a wide range of issues. Hopefully the panelists are going to join us. And even if the panelists are not here, you are the most valuable type folks right here. We're just here as a facilitator. And of course, without you, we can't do here. We say thank you so much for your commitment to this network and for joining us right here on the Diaspora Informative News Outlet, Liberia Public Radio. I am your host this evening, Chief Angot Alfonso Zienso, right here from the New England Bureau Desk in the beautiful ocean state of Rhode Island. Thank you so much for joining us. It's about Liberia. So please just put out a thick skin. Do not insert yourself into it. Put your feelings aside. We are talking about Liberia. We are talking about a sovereign nation. So no matter what it is our nation, and we must talk about it in an informed context, not necessarily to appease or to appeal to your political talking point, but we are doing this for the good of the country. And so sometimes, let me just put this here. Sometimes we do this not necessarily to get you, to amuse you. Too much of amusement is ongoing, but we need to discuss the issue here. Christian Wallet, my man, Lion Nyakon, Moklapi, good evening. Welcome to the show. I'm Alfonso Zienso. So let's get the ball rolling. Time is fast spent. It's 8:07 Eastern Standard Time. The search for VP. What's going on within the opposition columns? Let's have a conversation. All things considered. Crew ball, welcome. Okay, we say thank you so much for joining us here this evening. I'm Alfonso Zienso of the Liberia Public Radio. Just bear with us, doing a little bit housekeeping right behind here. And soon we get ready. We will surface right here before your very eyes. And we were going to have this conversation here very shortly. Stay tuned to bear with us. In the meantime, let's have this quick commercial commitment, and I will be right back. Just bear with us yet quickly here.
We don't only have a limited audience, limited to people who have data and have access to the internet, right? Now we're on radio, so we've expanded the pool of listeners, and because we in LPR are in the business of educating our people, what is political education or academic education or health education. Now we have access to a vast majority of the Liberian population that we can now interact with. And as far as the ambassador goes, I'm excited to hear what he has to say. I hope, and I know the brother he's very smart. So I hope he brings some substance today, like he always does, and not just give us bare bones. But I know Louis Bryan. I know he's very articulate. He's a very smart man.
That's the Minnesota's, the liberal causing the Minnesota politicians, I Sissy Goyot there. I'm Alfonso Zienso of the Liberia Public Radio and LPR-TV. We want to welcome our viewers and listeners across the globe. Thank you so much for joining us. Wherever you are, we say good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Thank you for your time. Oh, man, the legendary himself. I'm watching while I'm having my birthday dinner with my family. Oh, man, Samuel Abu, that's from Montai. Chief Mission here. He's a legendary journalist. Thank you so much. And we say happy birthday. When you eat, let we drink to yeah. Okay, just leave some there for us. We probably want to drink. Your eat, we will drink. We say good evening. So we want to welcome our viewers and listeners across the globe. Thank you so much for sharing your evenings with us right here on the Liberia Public Radio. This is your regular edition of the Wednesday program. All Things Considered comes away every Wednesday right here on the Diaspora Informative News outlet, Liberia Public Radio. Thank you so much. Neverness is in the making. The opposition yet to find the right footing. Whether they like it or not, we're going to be discussing it. And I look at the calendar of the National Elections Commission. I'm concerned as a Liberian, and many others are concerned as well. 173 days to go. No VP. What's going on in the Beltway? Is there no one, or is it the questions of someone being able to take a political risk? We have to talk this because how long should it take? This is something people should be ready. And guess what? A guy on this network, in his own words yesterday, asking critical questions. And I was surprised, not really surprised, because he has alluded on this network several times that he's unstable, he's unbalanced. So anyone who is unbalanced politically, wherever the wind blows, you only know their actions, you only know their positions at the time of the conversation. In the next string of it, nothing is guaranteed. Everything is off the ball. And so we're going to be having are you concerned as a Liberian? Oh, my good morning, good evening. Thank you so much, Mr. Wilson Board, Andrew Tbito, Linda Taylor. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Making a guess yet, I'm just throwing it out there depending on your location. But we say thank you so much. If this is your first time, by the way, this is Liberia Public Radio. We wholeheartedly welcome you. And I just throw the red carpet that literally. If you are not following this page here, try to follow, like. You can also subscribe with us on our YouTube channel, our link in as well. However, there's a taboo on this network. I just want to give you a heads up before we get the ball rolling. We don't usually, it's not our tradition to play into the narrative of these politicians. Guys, you call your political leaders. We don't. We don't even rely on them. We extend an invitation to come here. But guess what? It is at their own volitions. It's at their own will and pleasure to accept and to reject. But they prefer to go somewhere where people will say things and they will just be knowing that, yes, yes, yes. If you remember the days of Samuel Abu knows that, the Sherman Brown, the famous ELTV program, yes or no contest on Sherman Brown, ELTV those days. That's what they want us to do. Unfortunately, we do not subscribe to that. We give you the opportunity to have a holistic conversation, genuine conversation as to how and where you want to lead our country. Those are genuine conversations we intend to have. And it is fair to give you the outline of the conversation. But to draw out question 1 to question 10, this is the questions I want to be asking. Oh, hell no, that's not going to happen on this network. And so sometimes when we extend them the invitation, guess what? They accept. But then in the die meeting, oh, we got caught up with time and this one can't happen because they have their surrogates. They have their supporters who tell them, who gets their ears and say, well, perhaps you are leading into the slaughterhouse. They're going to be asking you questions and it will not be good. And so they will go and cancel. So they prefer the proliferations of network, which is so good to talk about our country. But we got to be very careful because things that we hear, eventually we act on them. We take action on them. And sooner or later, you come back to say, oh, if I knew then. Well, you refuse to know because you refuse to answer questions and you refuse to take the guys you call your political leaders, you refuse to even rise up to ask questions if you didn't understand anything for that matter. And so what you did, you gambled, you have to gamble the future of our country. And then you come back to say, knowing what I know now, yes, you knew it, but you deliberately, for political purposes or for your own good, you decided to take a route that you wanted to take. And I'm getting sick and tired of this. Very sick and tired. Why are we treating the country like this? And we expect miracle to take place. We deliberately blindfold our eyes to the reality, to the true world, what is happening in today's world. And we dance to the rhythm of these people. And we allow people to insinuate, make a false news, subliminal messages, mischief, dishonesty, breaking news that does not require breaking, manufacturing story overnight to entice you, and you agree to those sort of fake news, and you think our country going to be good. No, we have to stand out. If Liberia is to be a Liberia that we want it to be, you and I, us and everybody, no matter which side. Don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with taking a side. Of course, you have the right to take a side. But for God's sake, ask questions. Raise your fingers. Tell them how they're going to get it done. They shouldn't just come tell you, oh, tomorrow we're going to have a skyscraper. Oh, tomorrow all the road in 1 year, 2 months time, 1 year, in the first term, all the roads, feeder roads in the country is going to be connected. Tell us how those roads are going to be connected. How are you going to do it? The most challenging, how will you tackle corruptions? Who are those you're going to bring within your proximity? How? Someone who has promoted you or promulgated to your messages, whether in the wrong context or the right context, tomorrow, the first shot, the confidence and trust you impose in that person, what will be your decisions? Will friendship kick in, or will the interest of the country triumph over friendship? We need to start asking those questions. 173 days to go. We are not discussing the policy of these people. Unfortunately, we are not. And they are doing it on purpose. And we yet to grab and make sense of it, to say, wait a minute, what is going on here? We have been heavily distracted by their behavior, their deliberate and political calculations, so that we will not have the opportunity to ask them the critical questions. They come, they peruse, and run all on the networks that are friendly to them. I was surprised. I was listening to one of the network this evening. Not really surprised with seeing this thing be playing out. And one of the angles is telling a person, the guest, go run. I personally will come and support you. I'm like, oh my goodness. Well, then establish your true identity. And this is why we hold our guys responsible here. When you want to be an analyst here, we ask you to establish your political identity. That way, your tone, your language, you will not leave our audience with that sort of openness. Who is he? Who is she? Where does she stand? But for the angle, who should serve as the conduit between the listeners, the viewers, the citizenry? And in asking these people tough questions, will declare publicly. See, the liberal took us out here. Cesar Goya took us out. Dr. George Toto took us out. The man from the far right, Amos George, is an ANC guy. It's cool. That way you know. We have to be honest. But they say they are honest, but their language, their tone does not in any way resembles or looks like honesty. And then they forget in the interim when they're having a conversation, I want you to run. When you win, we'll see the changes that we deserve, that we want to see in that country. And then, in fact, I will go beyond a Cameroon campaign. My goodness. The program is about to get on the way. I'm Alfonso Z, and so stay tuned. It's going to get interesting. And the cat will eat baby here tonight. You know, when the lion is not around, the mouse and all of those people, the rule all around to the extent they sanctions our good viewers and listeners. They're looking to see what the comments as to whether the comment is in their favor. Yet he claimed to be a liberal-minded person. But watch and see, you're going to see and hear from the House's Mafia tonight. I'm Alfonso Z, and so stay tuned. Let's have a conversation. Okay, good evening, good evening, good evening. Welcome. I'm Alfonso Z, and so today is Wednesday, and this is All Things Considered. He's here. He's based in the liberal land of California, Saxton, Sacramento, the liberal progressive of the Liberia Public Radio. At this point in time, I have no idea what this guy, where he stands on politics in Liberia. But he said in his own word, he's unstable, he's unbalanced. So I take him off his word. Let me just bring him in here and see what we're going to get. The liberal progressive is here. The liberal, good evening and welcome.
Good evening, Mr. Saul. Good evening. And thank you for having us again tonight.
You confused so quick. Your microphone going behind you. We have not even started the conversation, man.
Mr. Saul, the liberal can never be confused. The liberal is always clear-minded when he comes on these public forums.
Okay, well, it's good that yeah. Well, you can follow us live on Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, and subscribe so that you get a notification when we are here. Okay, the liberal progressive. Good evening and welcome to the show. How's your day? What you did today? You did some drawing, you did some highway stuff and things like that?
Yeah, as usual, we get our hands dirty as usual. We try to do. We have three projects on our plates, and I'm trying to get it together as soon as possible. So as usual, yeah, we work hard.
We work hard. Why are you talking so peaceful? As you're not a peaceful guy. So why you want to profess to be a peaceful guy now? When you on your own, when you on your network, you loud like no one else is on planet Earth. What is that?
Mr. So, why are you so inquisitive in whatever that I do here tonight? I'm not quite ready for you yet. So enjoy yourself. Be at liberty to poke me as much as you want. I will rebuttal later. And we will see how far we go. But you know the liberal is here as a counterweight. So I will let you run with your conservative ideas right now, talking about other people, what they do and what they don't do. And I was listening. I was in the background listening, and I'm going to address each of the comments one by one here tonight.
Okay, well, you will be given the opportunity as usual. We don't sanction, we don't I don't screenline people phone call like in the case. Oh, you are IE person, you are Barman, you are St. Joseph, and so you are Barrow. So you only favor certain phone calls.
I
Which
am
of
not gonna
those?
buy. I'm not gonna eat crab with this one here. Eat crab with Sheen on this. I'm a borrow man. Any IE man you call my oh. What kind of thing I wear? And it's like Jesus Christ. Let's forget
In
about
all,
football business.
in all,
Let's forget football business because I'm not quiet attire here tonight. Let's forget about football business. Let's go on with our topic because I
all
can't.
things considered, let's get it out of the closet here.
Yeah.
What is in your folder? I saw the frustration in you in your last program, and I was like, what's going on? At this point in time, it like you are like a train. You can go either way now, and where you angled, that's it seems to be the
The
case.
only hope,
What is good?
the only lights, as far as political light is concerned, that is giving many Liberians hopes in terms of serious competition to Dr. Weah and CDC. As far as I'm concerned, is Councillor Gonglo, who's not attacking, but bringing out the subject matters. And he does it in a way that is understandable to many Liberians, educated or non-educated Liberians. That they are all understanding him, and I hope that he continues. Even if he doesn't win, he will put himself in the minds and hearts of many Liberians.
How the pick of Councillor Gonglo, how you arrive at that point?
Well, because I admired the thing he's doing. He's not attacking in terms of personality. He differ with many people on policy, and he expressed those effectively without using words that will drive people away or turn voters off. In fact, I think his choice of words are attractive to many voters, and I think I like that. I like that. However, the other politicians, political leaders, the like of Honorable Cummings and Ambassador Bakai, for some reason they have decided.
That's not how usually you introduce
Mr. So, please
Ambassador
do
White.
not. I'm not trying to. Don't try to invoke some sort of emotional sentiment here tonight in terms of how I talk, and I'm just giving it to you as it is. As I was saying, these people have decided to leave us. Many of us Liberians that were on the train, admiring them and hoping that they will unseat this president, merely just by articulating their view. They have not done that. They have not done that.
Are you
And
disappointed?
this is April. We're getting to the end of April, and they have not done that adequately to articulate their view. What exactly make them different from President Weah? They have not done that. They have not done that. I've not seen it. All they talk about is Supreme Court and what have you. You're going to attack NEC if NEC has put in a system that Liberians are gearing towards. If you think you have issues and the Supreme Court is already blocking you, so pay attention to the voters and explain to them what exactly you plan to do. But they're not doing that. They're just sitting down, hoping that the voter will come to them instead of they going to the voters.
Oh, your guy, do you still consider him as a stabilizer or somebody who can lead us way through? Because you are changing politically, you are changing. Your tone is back.
No, I'm not changing anything. I still admire him. I'm just being truthful. I'm trying to explain to them that this train is leaving them behind. It's leaving them behind, and this train has been driven by no one, so to speak. And President Weah, Dr. Weah, President Weah, and CDC, they are setting the agenda. for these people to respond to. And many of these people, the political leaders themselves, are now somehow trying to be on the defensive. Listen to this young, smart, intellectual Liberian Costa explaining the voters' issue as he sees it. Putting them, the Dr. Weah and President Weah and CDC are putting the people on their back foot, and that is not a good politics, Mr. So I was expecting by this time, with the vast experience that Ambassador Baka has, with the vast working and knowledgeable experience in terms of politics Dr. Baka, Ambassador Baka has, I thought by this time those experience and the knowledge that he has will be at the disposal of many Liberians who want to join politics and try to milk out of him some sort of a knowledge that perhaps will suck us and make sure that we understand exactly. Up to this point, we have no idea what his policy is. We have no idea what his platform is. We have no idea where he's going with this country. Always thinking, and I continue to think that he's a stabilizer. But until now, I think my tone will be a little bit subdued, Mr. Soul.
So will you then agree with me? Because this is something I've been saying from time to time, and you told me it was none of my business. 100, according to the official calendar of the National Election Commission, 173 days to go. Do you agree with me and every other Liberians who have been advocating for that? Indeed, the clock is eating, correct?
Yeah.
I didn't hear you.
Mr. So, it's not time for me to eat crow here tonight. I refuse to eat crow on this one tonight. I'll give it to you, and please do not try to rub it in my face as much as you would like. I will give you this, and I say, yeah, and let's move on.
Okay. Just how we hold politicians accountable, we also hold anchors and presenters, facilitators of programs accountable. This is the liberal progressive of the Liberia Public Radio, the most liberal on this network. In his own words, let's hear him.
I'm very good at that. I'll say it anyway. So, the first one, you think that the Supreme Court will vote for you? You want to win the election through Supreme Court? You're being ridiculous. Leave the Supreme Court out of it. Only go to Supreme Court when things are a little bit difficult. When the laws require, not every little thing you go to Supreme Court as though the Supreme Court going to make up your voters. Unacceptable. The Supreme Court, they told us the last time, the Chief Justice said, you know, it'll be better. She truly told everyone, including the opposition, it'll be better to have somebody, a good legal-minded person, to be on your campaign. And that person must be able to have the ability to practice law before the Supreme Court. Because we will be ready, whatever case it is, bring it to us that have to do with anything, and we will make sure the law is applied. But that not every little thing now you're going to come run to the Supreme Court. When your even campaign says so that people will know what you want to do. Where is your platform set? That Supreme Court gave you the platform now? What kind of business is this?
Tell us.
What kind of business is this? Huh? Eh? That Supreme Court gave you the platform. Where your platform? Nothing. We see anything. Ambassador Baka, what you say you're going to do for us now? We know you.
Oh, yeah.
We got to go search 7, 8, 1 year ago interview you had with Costa. And we bring something up. On Mokumis, when? The last time.
Tell us.
You do one thing over and over, and they call in that what we eat, or Mokumi, that what we eat. I do one thing over and over, and that insinuate that what we eat. the only person that I can see doing something that you're supposed to do, that Councillor Gonglo.
Oh, yeah?
Councillor Gonglo. My own sister. She went to Supreme Court. Supreme Court said, you ain't got no good standing you.
True confection.
Then she said she will try again. Kumi the other day, she ran to Supreme Court. Supreme Court said they want to you get good reason. What y'all will do now? That Supreme Court y'all be running to every time?
Versus LPR. This is the Liberia Public Radio. We hold politicians accountable of their word as well as facilitator. Oh, the Liberal is playing some devilish eye here. The Liberal, welcome. That was you, correct?
I plead the fifth.
You say what?
I plead the fifth.
Are you want to be the Donald Trump that asked 400 some more questions, he can't answer one?
Mr. So I really, what was the purpose of playing that video? What was the purpose? Except for me now to make me want to try to eat. I was just being very truthful. According to me, these people that I've admired, these people that I come on the show for more than a year now, and try to vouch for them, even though I don't know them, they don't know me, but I admire them greatly.
This is what I have problem. Why you don't know people and you stand in your gap?
Mr. So I read. And so I read about these people a lot. I don't have to know them personally to be able to admire their political aspiration or their political things that they have done in the past in terms of Ambassador Barker. So I admire them very greatly. But this is a different subject. This is a different issue. And this is what many Liberians are frustrated about. These people have the ability. They have the ability to make CDC run out of Monrovia. I think if they have put themselves together correctly, by this time CDC will be all over this place. CDC have nothing to stand for. They cannot show us anything they have done positively, except the opposition are so weak that the CDC can even say, I can stand on the needle. Knowing further well, we know that they're unable to do that. But they will say it because nobody's going to challenge that. And this is the sad and the frustrating part about it. At this point, you would think Ambassador Barker would have many commercial on many of the social media where Ambassador Barker is going to sit down like a leader as he is and explain to the young Liberians, educated as well as uneducated Liberians, to say this is what the country is right now. This is what the country is. And this is where I want to take this country. And Ambassador Barker should be able to ask questions now. At this point, are you better off this time around than you were seven years ago?
Can that question be asked today?
Children of Liberia, are you guys, the children of Liberia, are you eating daily as you used to do 7 years ago? What's about school fee? Are they being paid? This is a time Ambassador Barker should be able to articulate your view clearly. The only person who's doing that, and I truly admire as well, is Councillor Gonglo.
Does he have that political strength if, like, he's doing what he's doing? Does he have that political strength? Should Ambassador Barker be asking that question, like you are saying, as we speak of today?
Well, Ambassador Barker, I don't know when was the last time he had any kind of public gathering or public appearance. I don't know. But in terms of Councillor Gonglo having a political strength, yeah, any Liberian that jump in is have a political strength. Of course they do. The issue there is, does he have the followers? that will at least put him over the edge, or put him over the hump, so to speak? That is the question that we all face. But as far as thing you need to do, the T and the I's, cross your T, dot your I's, I think he's doing those things effectively. Effectively. And I think the opposition right now, and I'm going to be ridiculous here, Mr. So, but that's what I do, and I do it well. I think at this point, the opposition would now try to hide themselves behind Councillor Gonglo, and let Councillor Gonglo come in to be the protector of the opposition that are unable to explain themselves. We're tired with they doing things over and over and with the same thing and expect different results. We're tired with that kind of a language. We need something.
What you want to see happening?
I want to see these people at this time. When Honorable Kumi was here in Sacramento here the last time, listen to him. As he was speaking as though he was taking this into the end line, to the end zone. But why perhaps they didn't realize they were just on the 20-yard. And you still have 80 to go. But what I'm saying here is I know for a fact that these two people, Honorable Cummings and Ambassador Baka, they have the ability to move this ball. They know exactly what to do.
How?
Mr. So, and I'll just talk about Ambassador Baka from my own perspective.
Okay.
And I'm not here.
I think we're going to be taking calls sooner here tonight as well.
I'm not here, Mr. So, to please anybody. That's not what I'm here for. I'm here to be factual according to me. And it really doesn't matter to me who say what and say what kind of name they call me. It don't move me. I know who I am. So I'll be factual. Ambassador Baka, as far as I'm concerned, he, my estimate, true stabilizer. Ambassador Baka should now try to differentiate himself at this time from the field of political leaders. He should try to dust these people out and leave them behind at this time.
Hold your peace. Get a glass of water. I see some sort of, I don't want your pressure to go up yet, and because anything LPR will not be responsible. Let me go to this caller here from Minnesota. Caller, good evening. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Mr. So. This is Elvis calling from Minnesota.
Elvis, good evening. Welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah, this is All Things Considered. Let's hear from you.
Yes, hello to Mr. To as well. I think he's making a lot of great points. These are some of the things that we've all been saying. You know, in the perfect world, you know, where all things were equal, Tawan Gonglo should be the leading opposition candidate right now in that country. You know, and people like Cummings, I always harp on Cummings because they say to whom much is given, much is expected, right? This guy has all the money, he has all the quote unquote connections, and he's playing part-time politics with our country. This guy is not taking the country seriously. So fully put a grand game together and go through the breadth and width of that country and campaign and sell his message to the common people in the interior of the country. He's relying on the intelligentsia as if to say they even make up a good 10 or 20% of the country. You know, elections are not held in a diaspora. You may have a lot of supporters on this side of the world, but most of these people are not going back to Liberia to vote. So somebody like Gonglo, if he had the means, the money, I think he can really widespread his message, and a lot of people will gravitate towards him because it's a captivating message. This is a man who has stood up for Liberians, the everyday Liberians, who is well learned within the law, who knows the country inside outside. You know, and I hate to say this, but a quote unquote native man who is a son of the soil, comes from a vote-rich county, you know, an activist who has paid his dues in terms of standing up for the country, even in times of difficulties, in times of of great danger. This is a hero of that country. These are the kind of people, this is our John McCain. This is our, Dwight Eisenhower, people who fought on the right side of history and who was rewarded the presidency because they stood up in the face, in the face of danger and was brave enough. So I don't know why people isn't paying him enough attention. Well, people, like coming through is supposed to be doing a lot more in terms of campaigning.
So Elvis, why Cummings should be the one to be held accountable? Why Cummings?
Because this guy is coming in our country with American style politics. He's not somebody who has been well accordant with the politics in Liberia. So he's coming there with this Barack Obama style. And the thing that won Obama the presidency in the country is his grand game. He got a lot of volunteers, got a lot of people who believed in him and went door to door and sold his message. Obama was already had an uphill battle to climb. He was black, a freshman or sophomore senator. He had a lot of downhills, but his grind game was the thing that got him the presidency. Cummings has the money, he has the logistics to do something similar to that. He's not doing it. So how can we even be sure that this guy really wants it? There's Gongo going through the mud with whatever meager resources he has. He's doing it. He's doing it. So what's stopping Cummings from doing it? Who has 100 times more resource than Gongo does? Is that somebody that seriously want to be our president, or should we just give it to him on a silver platter with minimum work? Can't do that. So I agree with Mr. Toh on this. He's really making a lot of sense. And when it comes to the old man, they think, well, yeah, but Nima Kati, I'm going to say something that might be controversial, but it's the reality of life. Jeremiah Kuhn is not a quote unquote, native Nimadian. He's a tribal man from Dominica in Sano County. So if you're running against the son of the county, or the son of the soil in Gongo, he's probably going to take 60% of that vote in Nima County in the first round at least. So when people are talking about Kuhn, the woman should take Kuhn, he better take Yomli, because Yomli she's a bona fide Bassa woman who has the Bassa belt and will bring him that vote. But Kuhn, he has Gongo to compete against. And the CDC has another 20 or 30% in Nima as well. Go ahead, Mr. So.
So in essence, Jeremiah Kuhn, anyone who picks Jeremiah Kuhn will be doing it at his or her political risk.
Exactly. I don't know if many people know that.
Is there, and Gongo going to chip in. Is that it? So are you saying he does not have the base, despite with his MDR support with Senator Prince Johnson? Do you think that southeastern side going to tie into it? Is that something the voters going to be looking at?
Not at all. The point that I'm making here is that if it's just Jeremiah Kuhn in the race without Chawan Gongo, people will gravitate because it's somebody from Nimba. But if it's the son of the soil, a Mano man, I think Gongo is Mano Adio, a Mano man who has been there, whose family is very popular, sister served as superintendent, well-known family in the entire county. People have gone against Prince Johnson before. Prince Johnson lost against Sam Brown in the representative race. His candidate lost. So it's not on saying that people will gravitate towards Gongo because they see him to be one of them, rather than Count, who is not one of them, quote unquote. So let's not make that mistake. Maybe in the second round, if Boyka and Count is in a race, against George Weah, then that's when maybe they'll galvanize against around him. Okay. But when we're looking at a three-way split, Gongo is gonna come first in Nimba, and maybe
Gongo gonna come first in Nimba. Ever don't go, yes. Hold the line. Don't go. Let me break in this number here. This is All Things Considered, Liberian cross country, inside, outside of Liberia, expressing their views and opinions about their country. Let's go to this number here. 443 number 0321. Caller, what's your name and where you calling from?
Hello, Mr. So. This is Mr. Mawolo calling from Manila.
Mawolo, good evening.
How are you doing?
Yeah, 173
hello, Mr.
days.
So.
Yeah.
Good evening, sir. Good evening.
Listen, we are very funny people, Liberian people. We speak of our country's future as if it's a game. Mr. To, you ask him what should they do. He don't know what they should do, but he got all the criticism. First thing, this is not election. This is not a campaign period. Second thing, who has toured that country more than Alexander Cummings? There's not one, not even George Weah, who has toured that country more than twice. Every hamlet in that country he's been to. And you sit down here to talk about it, one or two things. You either don't know or you're being disingenuous. The tour was in Sacramento the other day when Mr. Cummings was there. He had all the occasion to ask him all the questions. And I'm sure he asked him all the questions he had. And he answered them. But yet he sit down here to talk about Gonglo doing this and coming now doing this. What did Gonglo say? Now you heard that you haven't heard before. You know, nothing wrong with taking sides, but something wrong with being disingenuous. The other man who called Elvis Morris, this man is a seditious. Now, who in their right mind really thinks that he has some positive advice for anybody else? You know, I mean, come on. Talking about coming out, all the money coming out. Who told you coming don't have a ground game? What do you know about that's going on in the CTV? Got no idea. But you just assume. Okay. Listen.
All right. This seems to be a fire warrior today.
This loudmouth who come on the air every day and try to misdirect our people. Because every single sound-minded Liberian knows that George Weah is incapable of running that country. The fact that you sit down here without knowing anything about what the opposition is doing and call them weak and call them this and you know that your people are gullible. You make them make decisions on emotions and they say. You're not helping the situation.
Okay.
So if they fail to do the right thing, you are responsible.
All right. Hold your peace. Don't go. There are a lot of folks on this line here. Let's hear from them. Dr. Kola is here, but let's go to Georgia. The Liberal RE guy is here. Aaron Poplet, who also support this administration. Aaron, good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Soul. How you doing, Mr. Soul?
Good. Let's hear from you.
Great composition. Yeah, great composition. I couldn't have agreed with Mr. Toll any much. Because, look, this is something that we've been saying all along. I just listened to the other caller who's saying that every sound-minded Liberian knows that President Weah is incapable of running the country. Is he serious? So we will advocate for President Weah or on behalf of the government. So we are not sound-minded Liberian. You see, that's the thing with the ANC people. Okay? Look, let me give him a message. President Weah doesn't have to go to this. They know him already. You understand? He's well known already. Mr. Cummings needs to go to these places. Still, President Weah is still going to these places. What he's talking about, President Weah, in touring the country. Does he know the president's schedule? Does he know what the president do? If the president is not going somewhere, people on his team going there. You see, I mean, always the ANC people, you know, not the Unity Party people. The ANC people feel like they are the intellectuals. You understand? They know more than every other person in that country. Okay, so people who every time it's something bad happens, that's edition. You understand what I'm saying? So look, Mr. To got a point. The opposition instead of them, trying to tell the Liberian people what they're going to do for the Liberian people, they're down there trying to fight. Oh, people registering this, people registering that, people doing this. Tell the people what you're going to do for them. Okay, up to now, you guys never even come up with running mate yet. Okay, 172 days to election.
So,
I want him to get this message. Okay, Joshua, I don't have to go to all the counties. He's already known in all the counties. Remember that. Cummings need to do that. Thank you.
Mr. So let me remind Brooklyn that hold on.
use little thing quick to get under your skin. Hold your peace. Get a water glass. Get a glass. You know they're gonna come here. Let me bring in here. Let me make Dr. Kula the presiding judge over this case here. I don't know who's gonna be vindicated for this other one here. I have no idea what he too gonna be saying. Maybe I'm gonna be caught in crossfire here as well. Dr. Kula, good evening.
Good evening, sir. How are you?
Good. Look, it seems to be commentators, supporters, surrogates, and whoever you call them, everybody's still in that sort of state of confusion now. So everybody trying to gain the rightful standing. Blame game is ongoing. Let me hear from you. Besides what the callers are talking about right now, 173 days to go. How crucial is this here? Or are we just making up things that we have no business making up to talk about?
You said 100 how many days?
173 days to go to the election.
3 days to go. I'll put it at what, maybe 5 or 6 months to go at elections, and the opposition still are fussing among themselves, fighting among themselves, and have not put forth any running mates so that the people can now focus on what they bring to the table, and focus on the opposition versus the incumbent, so that they can have a choice. But what the mistake that the Cummings people are making, they believe that they're going to put Cummings in the race, put Boycott in the race, split the opposition in 5, 10 different ways, and force the people in Liberia to choose. Well, our people don't operate that way. Whether you want to believe it or not, every society, like the Americans say, politics is local. Every society has a political psyche. They have cultural norms. They have voting blocks and so on and so forth, and the way they vote. And just like how you're telling Liberians to do the work, you need to do the work. Do the work by thinking about how Liberians vote and what historically they've done, and then make your decisions and make your machinations and your connections and combinations or whatever you want to call it based on those facts. You want to come to the West, to America, and you conform to the people norms here. Cummings came here, conform to corporate America. He knows how corporate America works, but then go back to Liberia and you want to insist on forcing the Liberian people to operate by American standards, and they should vote and think like how Americans think. Well, American voters have had this process for hundreds and hundreds of years. They have an educated base. They have a people that just come out of, they did their war in the 1700s. So you have to look at the fact that our people have their own voting demographics based on religion, whether Muslim or Christian, based on ethnicity, the various tribes, based on age, based on education. Those who are educated are less than those who are not educated, based on their key opinion leaders like their town chief, their paramount chief, their clan chief, based on the political psyche and the societal and cultural norms. So if y'all don't take those things into consideration, y'all will either by default give us real for a whole year, or we'll end up in a situation where Boycott is in the second round and Cummings is left standing out, and you either go and do what he did the last time and say, y'all can voting can we y'all want to vote after y'all tear each other apart, or y'all will come together as an opposition and help us remove this incompetent George Weah from power. That's how I see it.
Let me go to the liberal here. Something is burning within here. My prediction here now is we are leading to 1985 election. Anybody who follows that, the behavior of what his opposition is doing now is literally leading to the 1985 election. The liberal progressive. Let me bring you in here.
Yeah, Mr. So, thank you. I just want to remind, I believe the caller, the brother, Brublet. First of all, Brublet, if you're going to be engaging intellectually, you try to watch the language you use to describe other people. I don't come over here and open my wide mouth and stuff like that. I come here and make sense. And if it wasn't so, you won't be here. First thing. So that's that. The second thing is
Aaron though.
No, it wasn't. Some Brublet, I believe was Brublet. No, not Aaron Brublet. The guy that called.
Manwolo. He's still on the line. Manwolo.
Okay, the ANC guru, I will call him. And then the second thing I want him to understand also is this: Yes, when Kwame was here, we were asked to cover that. It was me, Julius Lofa, and Sekou Kone. And he promised that we were going to have an interview with him after
LPR, yeah.
after going back to Liberia. That's almost 4 months ago. Now, if I want to be ridiculous, I would say he lies to us. And I hate to use that word. As I use that word, if you were to see my eyebrow, I started raising that because that's not words that I use against anybody. So you don't try to, when I come out here and make these statements that we have not seen anything. Go on the social media. When was the last time you saw Comey making any comments? When? None. I'm not saying that it's time for them to campaign. And this is what you ANC people do. You think you're smarter than anybody else in the room. And this is why they're going to clean your clock. Because you always like to predict, and you always like to put people as though they are nothing. You're the better person. And with that kind of confidence, you don't even do your groundwork. What I'm saying here tonight, what I've been suggesting, Mr. So please, what I've been suggesting is that I know it's not campaign time. But at this time, the Liberian people should have something from Alakomi or Ambassador Waka that they can play the words, exciting words that they will play with every day. They turn around that they're stuff behind their mind, they'll be using that word. This is the time to do that. You don't have it. We don't have it. The only person that tend to make Liberian to understand that, in fact, there is an election that coming up. It's called Councillor Gonglo. Councillor Gonglo, that's it. The rest of the people stay in Monrovia is not Liberia. When we ANC people in the blood plot, like the blood plot, people to understand that Monrovia is not Liberia.
All right, let me bring in my callers here because it looks like your blood is boiling within here, guys. Let's have a continual conversation here. You know, sometimes it wonders me when people say it's not yet campaign, it's not yet campaign. I don't know what is a campaign. Chief Dr. Joel Howard Taylor now is surveying the southeastern side, which potentially seems to have the figure. We don't know yet. Everything is still inconclusive just from the census. Hold on 1 second. I'm coming. Don't worry. Hold on. You come. Hold on. She's making a visit now. She's not going there to dedicate anything. She's going there and they're going to have a conversation that she's on the ticket and the election is coming. It's a campaign. On the other hand, some of the opposition folks, they more or less focus their time, undercut their own strategy when they were more or less taking the censor to be like the voter thing and all the election going to be that is suppressing the minds of the people. And most of the people, they decide another way. Now they are calling for the extension. I don't think there should be extension. We need to have a system, and when dates and time are put on the books, those things must be honored. Let me go to you. Let's hear from you, Marloton, and the other people can speak.
Okay. Let me deal with what you just said first. You say you don't think there should be an extension. Alfonso, you got a news agency. Did they tell you how dysfunctional this whole registration was in the beginning and even during? When I went there, I went to Liberia to register to vote. Online, the people stopped the line and said they ran out of paper, so they had to bring paper from the office. You know how long we stayed there waiting? You know how many days the people took for their own people to learn how to use the machine, the computer they had there? Where you try to register 1.something million people in Liberia, at least 700,000 people, and you got one computer per station. They need to extend the time because they did everything to slow the registration process. So they need to extend the time.
Slow your
advantage. Now, secondly,
advantage of who? To advantage who?
Secondly, with what something said. Something you said to Mr. Cummings that you were going to Liberia and you wanted to have a sit down with him. When you went there, did you go to his office? Did you call him? That's what you told him.
No.
So I have to Liberia
No.
after I will
I
sit down
did
with
not.
you.
I did not
Cummings
tell
has been on
Cummings.
LPR several times.
No. Only one time he
So
came
you
here.
can't say he hasn't been there. But you said you are going to see him when you go to Liberia to have a special sit down. And I don't know if you called or you didn't call when you got there. So you can't blame him, you blame yourself. For Dr. Kula and whoever called, listen, we will choose to play the white people game or we go to our village game. When we say we want to be democratic and we want to have a multi-party democracy, it's a white man's thing. We will do it their way and do it correctly, or we don't do it at all. That's why in political history, that's why we have one party state. Because we knew our people were not ready for this. A group of people came from the West and said the people were ready. That's the problem we have. Now we will have to do it right. Because we have continued to do it wrong and all we have is problems. Democracy is competition. If you're not ready for the competition, you're not ready for democracy. Nobody's going to be handing people in that monarchy.
With competition.
If you want democracy, you got to be ready to compete.
When he made himself king of ANC, what competition did he have there?
When he made that what?
When he made himself king, when he crowned himself king of ANC, what competition did he have? Coming.
Who crowned himself king?
What
You
competition?
see that those kind of frivolous accusations, Kula, you make. I don't have time for childish conversation.
Okay, guys.
I don't have time for childish conversation, Kula. You always get involved in those kind of childish conversations. When you call crown himself king?
Hello. Let's do it, guys. Let's do it one at a time. Let's do it one at a time. Dr. Kula. Dr. Kula, hold on one second. Hold on. Let me.
Like I was saying to you,
Can you guys
control that kid?
Hold on 1 second. Can you guys?
We control that kid because I'm not going there with him.
Hold on 1 second. Hello, Dr. Kula.
You are acting like one, so you are.
Hello, guys. I don't want to.
Alfonso,
Mr. Stone, you're gonna have to mute.
Alfonso, you're talking about running campaign.
Hello.
Yeah, Joe Howard and George Weah can do that. Even if you go to Monrovia right now, you will see George Weah flags all on the post say George Weah 2023. Any other person does that, they will put it down.
No, forget
the same way with Joel. Any other
so.
person does that, election commission comes after them.
No.
So yes, they're breaking the law and they're allowed to. But you who not in power, you're not allowed to.
No.
So there is a campaign season, and we're going to abide by that. But that don't mean we don't have people on the ground.
Yeah, okay. Well, you
we're
can
going to
say
do
that.
our convention. After the convention, we're going to do a nationwide tour, and we're going to be ready when the election comes.
Okay.
But until then, we
right.
got our people working, and because you don't know, that don't mean it's not happening.
Okay, thank you so much. Let me bring it. That's not true to say when the election commission, Gonglo has gone places, he has some of people, nobody has asked that question. So that one, I don't know where that story coming from. Let's hold on here. Let me hold on 1 second.
Which story there?
Maulo, hold on 1 second. Let me go to the next people here. The issue of NEC going to come after people. Other people have gone places, and we have not seen anything in the public for NEC to question it.
I said you can't run a campaign. NEC will come after you because according to their law, you cannot.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Going out there to talk to people, making a declarations and having conversations.
Oh, we got people there talking to people.
Okay, just say it.
They come to all the time talking to people.
Okay, that's fine.
So can this guy give you a chance?
So then we can say that. I mean,
how we gonna be on the show like this?
Hold on 1 second. Let me go to the next. Let me next.
Who do you win? You pregnant?
Hello, Mr. Maulo. Guys, hold your peace. Let me go to other person. Let me stabilize the conversation. Okay, I think Sisse is here in backstage. I didn't see him. Let me go to this caller here, 763. Then I will come to Aaron and Dr. Kula for the final thought, and then we'll go back to the panelists. Sisse Goya, the Gonglo guy, is here. Let's see Okay, 763 number 724-7242. Are you there?
I'm here, Mr. Gonglo. It's me, Elvis. I just called back in. But
Oh, you just called
quickly,
back. Okay, so
yeah, I
let me
wanna-
allow you guys.
The man call you Mr. Gonglo.
Yeah.
let me
Elvis, what is
let
that
me
for Gonglo?
say here quickly, please. I mean,
Yeah,
I
let's
wanna
do
get
it
up on
45 seconds each to wrap up so I
Yeah.
can go back to my guys. And if anything, people can call back. Go ahead. What's your last comment?
Yes, I just want to say in this matter here, I agree with Dr. Kula. I think Dr. Kula was spot on. You know, here's Dr. Kula, a learner man. He knows very well that if he goes into Liberia today, he's a smart guy. He will have a hard time winning any kind of election because he doesn't have the ground game. The people may not be as familiar with him. He's not a career politician. So these ANC people who think the smartest man is always going to be president, that's not how it works. You have to be charismatic. You have to have connection with the people. You have to be well known. And Cummings is none of that right now in that country. So when people like Mawolo who start the name calling, who purport themselves to be educated and better than the other people, would start to act like kids on the platform, it's disheartening. So I think Dr. Kula was spot on. The ANC people have a sense of arrogance about them. It will be a very rude awakening in the close.
Okay.
So we'll
we'll
wait and see, and we'll celebrate a defeat. Thank you for taking my call, Mr.
Thank you so
Mr.
much.
So.
Okay, let me go to Dr. Kola for his thought. Dr. Kola?
Mr. So, two points I'll make based on what Mawolo said. One, that our people were never given democracy because they were not ready. Look how he sees our people as kids, as children that are not ready for something. Our people are the ones that Tubman took this thing of consensus and took to the UN that they're using to this day. Okay, so our country didn't have an autocratic dictatorship because our people wasn't ready for democracy. Because at the time in 1944 to 1971 is when the West wanted iron ore and other things for the war effort. A dictator, especially Firestone, needed a dictator like Tubman so that the country could be stable, so they could get what they wanted in a peaceful environment. When you had Lamco, when you had Beaumont, all those different multinational corporations. So we're gonna talk to our people and make our people seem like they don't know what they're talking about. Every country has a political demographic and a political psyche, and they will operate based on that system. That's what Americans say. Every politics is local, and no, not because democracy is a white man game. That doesn't mean we can't play the same game. Democracy is just simple. Democracy is just ruled by the people, the majority. People have an opportunity to vote, where you don't have a situation where you have like how we had our chiefs. You had the royal family that ruled forever. They changed that into what is a democracy where people vote for their elected, or having a situation where you're born into it. That's all it is. Everybody had the same thing that the white people had, and they changed it and made it an open voting system. Two, when he talked about calling me a child because I asked him, what democratic process did Cummings use to become head of ANC? He can't ask that because Cummings have never used a democratic process. It was so shameful that at their own convention, Mr. So, looping their song over and over, telling the people you can't take the ballot to your seat. The chairman had to sit down. They had to look at the ballot before they put in the ballot. Who does that? Look, even the churches in Liberia are more democratic than the political institutions. In the churches, the Methodist Church, the Lutheran Episcopal, when they have the elections, you can nominate somebody from apart from the 3 or 4 nominated people that they have for bishop, you can nominate somebody for the floor, and then have a group of delegates that vote for those people, and then you choose. But none of our political leaders can tell me that they had any kind of democratic process in them, perpetual political leaders, including Cummings. So don't tell us that, the Liberian people have to learn democracy, blah, 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 blah. Yes, the Liberian people know democracy, and they have voting blocks. They have voting blocks based on different demographics. And you learn that our people have different demographics, including the demographic that says we will vote based on what our town chief say, or vote on what the most leading political commentators say, or whatever. That's a form of a voting demographic. So don't talk down to our people. These guys are too arrogant in the ANC, and that's why they will make Cummings rude. A good man like that is suffering because of people like Mao.
Oh boy. Okay. What Thank you so much, Dr. Kola. Let me go back to my guys. Here. Well, views expressed on these network as the views of the caller. It does not in any way to represent the management of the Liberia Public Radio, but we do facilitate these hard call conversations. Sissy, I see you smiling. Are you're successful in getting the Liberal over now to Gonglo or what? Is that what
Yeah,
you're
they're fighting right now in the Supreme Court. So I just added one more P to it, LP. Now you LPP.
Look, Aaron, you want to come here? Come on the live view here with us. Okay, Aaron, you want to make a comment before I let you go?
Yeah. I just wanted to make my last comment to Mr. Marvel.
Hey, John Alexander PR. Good evening, and welcome, of course. Yeah, go ahead quickly.
Yeah. Mr. Marvel was saying there's a lot of irregularity to the voter registration. People standing on lines and stuff like that. Even in the great United States, I believe he's in the United States. How long people stay in line to vote? People stay in line because they want to exercise their political franchise. There's no easy way you go, to a registration pool and think you just walk in and come out. No, nowhere. Not even in the United States. Okay, where we all live. So what is he talking about? I mean, they're complaining even before the election. The censor came up, they complained. Voter registration, they complain. When the election result come out again, definitely they're going to complain, especially the ANC people. You know, that's all I wanted to say. Go and do the registration. Stop complaining. Go and do the registration and go to the elections.
Okay.
ANC, please.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Guys, there seems to be a bridge over troubled water here. ANC people, Unity Party, ANC, for the most part, LPP or Gonglo, they are not in this fries for which the Liberal now is strategically to walk in fine line to walk away from what could appear to be some sort of a political drama to unfold here. But if it remains like this, what is happening within the opposition column specifically, I don't want to say to come because he taking note now the next thing to come. The ANC, the Unity Party, if there's no sort of political dialogue to cement whatever coalitions, if it's narrowed down to either the incumbent and one of the opposition, that could be a problem. Sister, let me bring you in here. Good evening. Welcome. This is All Things Considered. The Liberal now is giving it up to a guy who is in towns and villages, communicating, talking to Liberians, making his case. But the question then becomes, does he have all it takes? Liberians, they look at branding, popularity. We are not even, there's no statistic or survey being done to ask people, what are we voting on? What specifically are we voting on? Like in a case here, you will see they will either look at health care issue, look at infrastructure, they look at security, immigrations, all of that. I know it will sound a little bit insane. Is your guy, is he doing what he's supposed to do as far as you are concerned? How can he penetrate this sort of war between the ANC and Unity Party? Is the war something that's troubling to him?
So, how are you doing, and how are you doing, Libra? Can anything good come out of Nazareth? Come and see. You know, I think what the LPP is striving to do, and what Councillor Gonglo is striving to do, is to provide a true alternative, a different way to see politics as not being hateful and vitriolic. And I can disagree professionally with my brother Aaron Poble and still maintain that cordial relationship. I can even disagree with Maolo who called. But be respectful and understand that Maolo has a different thought process on how Liberal should move forward. The key term is forward. But the how, I can disagree with the how. And we can have that discussion. Not because any one of us love Liberia more than the other, but because we all love Liberia so much that we all aspire for so much greatness for Liberia, that we all think differently in multiple ways on how to move Liberia forward. And we can intellectually disagree on the way forward. And that is what the Council of Gonglo has been provided, because we understand that in order for Liberia to move forward, in order for us to have a truly, fully participatory democracy, people got to participate. And we are not supposed to be choosing who participates and who doesn't. We ought to make participation universal. And everybody should have equal access to participate in governance. And that is why recently he's been talking about the issue of, the disabled people who live with disability in Liberia. We talk about all these electioneering things. What we forget is that people who live with disability have it very harder to exercise their votes.
A lot of things that
And we even have a share of the national pie. We don't talk about that. The State Department 2022 report spoke about that. That people with living with disability in Liberia, imagine, man, the blind man who we sent to the blind school, who knows how to read Braille, cannot have a ballot in Braille. He or she has to take somebody with them, and they have to trust that person, they think they're mocking, that person is saying the truth, or the candidate they're mocking. So what Councilor Gonglo is saying, and what he's been talking about, is how do we make this democracy that we keep saying participatory, that actually everybody have equal access to make a rightful decision, and we all have equal access to the national pie. We can disagree. I can disagree with ANC. I can disagree with Unity Party and the CDC, but my disagreement doesn't have to mean that I hate the CDC or I hate the ANC. And so that's the problem I think a lot of these political parties are having, and that is where Councilor Gonglo is having this niche, because he doesn't come forward as a hateful person. He does not preach this politics of a zero-sum stuff, as I'm always right and you're wrong, or that when you're right, that means I have to be wrong. It's not zero-sum. And I think that's the problem we have in our society. But just two things I want to push back on my brother Aaron about senior player. I know Fox News just settled with Dominion for fake news. We all have rights to our own opinion, but we don't have rights to our own set of facts. He talked about people standing in line in the United States. I think what my brother did was to model the lines. In the United States, people stay in line for hours to vote, not to register to vote. Two differences. Two big differences. People don't stay in line for hours to vote to register to vote in the US. What people are talking about is the registration to vote, not the casting of the ballot. So we shouldn't try to model those lines. The next thing is my brother talked about census came out, people complain, and election and registration, people complain. By the way, according to the government, census has not come out yet. It's still provisional. So I don't know why one minute CDC want to say something, and next minute they want to take it back, and then they want to hold it this way. The last thing I got to say is that I listened to my brother Maolo call. I think it's unfair that some of us are allowed to defend our candidates and other people aren't allowed to defend their candidates. I think it's unfair that when we expect everybody to speak the way I talk about my candidate, because we are all different and we all have different passion, and that comes out differently. But I think to take an entire political structure and judge it or condemn it based on people who are not even in the mainstream of making decisions, I think it's unfair. I think people make their comments, like my brother Aaron made his comment. I can't come out and tie that on the president's neck and the CDC neck. I think the comment made by Maolo should not be tied around the ANC to say, here is why the ANC is going to lose, because Maolo made a statement that looks kind of condescending. I think that's unfair. We can say Maolo, what you said was condescending, but that cannot be tied to the neck of Cummings, because he's not working within the party structure or the governance structure of the ANC.
Okay. What a tight, long one. The Liberal.
Mr. So, I also want to take on a few things Mr. Mauro said, and I think why he has the right, and then I'm not one that will try to say you shouldn't or don't say this or don't say that. But here's the thing here. He said our people, in a sense, they are not that sophisticated when it comes to voting. And so perhaps they are trying to register at the same time educate. So I think what perhaps Cummings should have used his millions on is an NGO where he could have gone to Liberia instead of trying to be president. First, help to educate the Liberian on the process of democracy. Use your millions and have every school in Liberia to have a copy of the Constitution.
Who gonna
And
do
have
that? Who means?
yeah, I'm saying because he's saying what's his name? The gentleman that called earlier said that they're doing the registration, but they're also trying to educate Liberians in terms of political activities and the democracy process in Liberia. And I'm saying instead of Cummings coming in to run, Cummings ANC then should have utilized that instead of ANC political party, it should have been ANC NGO. And therefore, by they becoming an NGO, they would have come out and spend all that money, buy or print out Constitution, and have every schools in Liberia have copy of the Constitution, and perhaps have people to learn the process of democracy by Cummings going around and not campaigning, but educating Liberians. And once he feels that the Liberians have not been educated and ready for because he said we're not ready and ready for democracy, then perhaps Cummings could have come in. They didn't do that. Now, you want to tell me you're in the process of trying to win vote, but at the same time, we should believe you that you not just campaigning, twisting, and turning words around to favor you, but yet we should believe that you are now campaigning and teaching Liberians about democracy. We're not stupid around here anymore. We're past that stage.
Why liberal? On what basis? Why Cummings should go through that? What is the essence of that?
The gentleman spoke earlier, Mr. So. He said, and perhaps I'm not quoting him correctly, but he said, in a sense, that our people are now quite ready in terms of democracy. So they are going to help to teach, to educate.
Can you elevate your camera? Let's see you.
No, you're not going to do that one. If you can even hear you.
I was not feeling well. But
Ladies and gentlemen, the show is over. Good night. Thanks for coming.
Yeah, so you can go because you're praying God for me.
So if you're going to make that kind of statement, professing to be there to teach Liberian about democracy, then I'm suggesting to them, then perhaps the right way should have been for them to come in as an NGO and then help with their NGO status, help to teach Liberian about democracy.
ANC, I just want to make sure, Pajo, ANC should come as an NGO to teach Liberian democracy?
You know, I just
I come in, Pajo. I just want to make sure someone will hear about for ourselves.
You with the flower, the liberal ain't done yet. Just waste
No,
more.
Mr. So, you know, my ain't feeling anybody more. Nobody here feeling my more. You know, I'm not scared of two of you. You know that one very well. So you can frame it any way you want. But let me just help you out here a little bit. I said the gentleman that spoke earlier, ANC guy that spoke earlier, in his rebuttal to Dr. Kula, saying that Liberians are not quite, if we're going to take the American style democracy to Liberia, they would then not only try to bring that up, but they are trying to teach Liberian as well. And I'm saying, instead of doing it as a political party, they should have gone in as a NGO, thereby having a specific starter, and even the UN can even help you because now you're not a political party, you're NGO, and then helping to teach Liberian. Maybe some of us will contribute to that and then be able to do it. Or you use ANC millions that you're using, Cummings millions that you're using now, and trying to speed up these unbelievable statements. Instead of doing that, you would have used that millions, Cummings millions, and then educate our brothers and sisters. And then when Cummings feels that Liberians have now gotten to a point where they will truly understand democracy, then perhaps he can put his hat in the ring to be president.
Emo Joyce, good evening.
Mr. So, how you doing?
What's about me?
Already before you do it.
What's about me? You're not gonna say how am I doing?
I got some. I leave you. I will take it.
So you're not gonna say how am I doing?
Say what?
You're not gonna say how am I doing?
Oh, but you wait now. You can't. I will speak to you, but you can't wait. Something told how you doing. So you don't want to answer again?
No, because you put me last.
You know what the man say? You know what the man say? The man say you gotta take a leave before you call your name.
Oh, okay.
You gotta take painkiller before you call your name. You know what he said?
Is that big in the evening? I say I'm having a headache.
America, yeah. We stay fighting with democracy in America. We stay fighting you. Then you talk about Liberia. That someone will go organize an NGO, print book constitution to teach everybody before he will come to Rome. Really something to? Democracy is a process. People continue to build on. There's nowhere in the country you see, in the world you say this place is a complete democracy. People always building on it. How many countries in Africa that can speak up what you want to define as pure democracy that they have reached that point? Everybody stay fighting. So if at all that is happening, why you couldn't ask your government to print constitution and handbook and put it in the school? You want somebody to take the hard-earned money to go and print constitution to teach the people before they can make the desire or determination to run. It is a process. We will have to continue to educate our people. We also, I must say, need education about democracy. So it's a continuous process. So there's no way to urge anybody or organization that they will start from point A and point B. They say, okay, now we're finished, we're done. Everybody now know democracy. We got to practice it now. We don't need to continue to educate our people. No. We will have to continue to educate our people. So if somebody say, whoever you are trying to quote or say something, the person is not wrong. About democracy is still young. We are in an infant stage. We have to continue to build it by teaching our people, telling our people. So
Something said, Mr. Cummings, your guy should go teach them.
Maybe, let me put it away. Maybe something to figure. Maybe they say Cummings got money and Boga ain't got money. So, Cummings now should take it as he's saying something to millions of dollars to print up.
He said millions. He said millions and millions. You're not even called one. Yeah. He said millions of millions.
Millions and millions of dollars. No, if even he had it, I think there's a way everybody can everybody make the determination how to spend the money. And that's why he's doing charity organization in Liberia. Students, they are benefiting from it. And what? They're still learning. You should urge your government to go back to putting service back in our schools. Because you know you took service. I took service. And I think so I think took service in Liberian school. But why the government decided to pull this thing off of school? Those are the basic, the fundamental that teach people about democracy. But for some reason, government decided to take it out of school and did not replace it with anything. So now everybody left to determine or interpret how government should be run.
Okay.
So that statement, I don't know. Maybe something to when you commissioner in total time, then you should print the handbook. I will help you. I will donate $5 so he can help you. So donate so he can put the handbook to teach, so the people can teach it in school in total time. Then we will know that you're really serious for the democracy to educate people. Then when the people start learning, then something to want to run now as representative. Because now all the people
for we district
educated.
For we district.
Bazan.
You're not running there. Guys, let's take a quick break. We'll be back. There was a font, and this is also an advertisement. Our man, Federer said we should go drink Joro Boy. Everybody, everybody, literally like.
This is Patrick, man. Yeah, well, you make it proud to get.
Yeah. So let's take a break. This is what happens during the weekend. And for those of you who have organizations, homecoming, schools, so you can also hire us and we can do a work. Let's see. There was a coin contest, about $32,000 raised by the group to a polio boat. Let's see here. There are coins. There were 3 contestants. One from Iowa, one from Minnesota, and Philadelphia. Let's see their triumphant entrance in the building. So we'll be right back.
We need the same support. We are about to usher in the contestant from Minnesota. From the set of 10,000 rate. DJ, get ready. We are about to bring Minnesota in the hall. Please, ladies, please come out like so. Please give the support to the other contestant. DJ, get ready for me. Welcome the queen from Minnesota. Minnesota. That's the contestant from Minnesota.
You've worked for months to bring your or your client's event to life, but unfortunately, the world had another plan. In reality, the only thing you lost is the venue. We take your vision for hosting a virtual conference and bring it to life online. No matter how complex your agenda is, we produce a smooth, engaging experience. Call the Liberia Public Radio today and schedule your event. Our number is 682-433-8802. If you prefer to submit your request via email, please send the request to liberiapublicradio2012@gmail.com. Our staff are standing by waiting for your phone call.
Okay, we're gonna do the lip say back.
The only thing I gotta say, did they all submitted their long form birth certificate?
Or what?
All these ladies that entered, were they able to submit their long form?
No, they get a short form because Sunday war in abroad, no more long form coming.
Are you working with INS now?
What are you asking the people?
What is he talking about?
The man he talking about the Obama thing where Trump was asking for long form birth certificate.
Anyway, they had a raisement, but I saw a whole lot of women over there. Women can spend. That's why I say when you see the churches how they get rich, There are more women in any churches. You see women in there, plenty. Forget it. Our church will get rich. So that place there.
Okay, yeah. It was
no men put no money in that place. I don't women.
It's summertime now, so if you have your institutions, homecoming, whatever it is, just contact us. We got our guys. If there's a way, no way, we will find it out. Let's get our late and we buy our men here the volunteer and nobody on pay. We not get no money, but we work for you. You give it.
I saw the cash I received between you and Mr. George.
Mr. Soul, let me try to make a comment to connect what we just saw here to that on the national level. Now, one of the things that I believe any Liberian government that will be truthful and that will be respectful, not only respectful, but trusted by the Liberian people. A government in Liberia can come here in the United States and just the Liberian organization, but just itself, that person can get millions and millions of dollars from Liberia to be able to fix some of these roads or fix some, bring up some serious project in our country. The only problem you're going to have is that you must be trusted. And if you come here, and this is where, and I'm not trying to tote Councillor Gongro on here, but a person like that, if he was successful and decide to liaise with the Liberian diaspora, truthfully liaise with the Liberian diaspora, and I think the Liberian diaspora will be willing, especially the people who from the area where there are no roads, will be willing to pay. I'll give you an example. Back in 2016, President Fred Goyen, who was then president of Granjide Association, selected a few of us. And the Granjidians were willing, I think we were about 7 or 8 of us, were willing to pay our way to transport us from here to Granjide to do an assessment of the road condition. And that they were going to be willing to make sure to rehab the road from Tapeta all the way to Zwedru. That's how serious they were. And they were going to do that because the conference made it clear that that's exactly what they wanted to do. So I'm just saying, when you have these people getting together and trying to have these huge sums of money and try to build schoolhouses and things like that, that means that organization have a leadership that is trusted. Because many Liberian organization leadership, they're always eating people money, many of them. But to have an organization like that, and Mr. George put it correctly, and I've been saying this here, there were some people, I bet you, on the hallway, I mean, at the gate, there were some people at the gate that were saying, men, well, I'm going to pay, I can't all the way where I'm going to pay $50 to enter. The women don't ask questions, they pay. And they are the backbones of the organization. And if you have women trust your administration, you will do well. But I just want to take it to the next level and try to raise it up to the national level, Mr. So.
You know, when George Weah was elected, the zeal that Liberian had, the zeal that people had, if George Weah would have tapped into that in America and done the right thing, you would have gotten good financial support for Liberians here.
Is it late?
Huh?
Is it late?
It's late, Mr. So. Who you think that person how many Liberian person can appeal to contribute to that country now with the situation in the country? I'm seeing it. They see that people have myself. I didn't support his government at the time, but when he won, because everybody thought that things were going to change. The expectation was so high.
What was that thought process coming from?
It was just what people believe in him.
No, it's like people hoping, and you play on that message. Say, hey, you trust me. If you put me at this thing, we'll change it. And I
don't mean to interrupt, Mr. George, but if you listen to the inaugural speech alone,
So going back to that inaugural speech, let's have a conversation, because these are the layers that we are not pulling into this world, the politics of today. And then you guys who are the commentators, pundits, and supporters of these people, you will come back again tomorrow and can fine-tune it again. Now, are we doing that today? Enough. Sissy, the liberal is taking us to in the past. The man from the far right is also, he's aligning with liberal now, which of course in the next few seconds they're going to fall apart. That is, that I for sure I can guarantee before we go off here tonight. They say we thought. Did we ask all of the questions? Were there lengthy conversations as to how these things are going to be done? I'm not sure. If not, to avoid what we are having today, what people believes in their mind is not happening to right. But when you talk to other people, they say everything is okay. So it's a convoluted one here. So the question now becomes, because when you talk to sedition, when you bring Aaron Poplar on and other people here, they say, no, you are on the wrong side of history. And that's their argument, because they sees it, they view it different than him because he's on the other side. So the question becomes now, are we having that conversation today?
So I think it's unfair to even think that we can have enough conversation that covers that gives a guarantee. Because political platforms by design are meant to be aspirational. It's like you work for a company, the company has a mission statement and a vision statement. The vision is meant to be aspirational. The mission is meant to guide you through the vision. So political platforms are designed by nature to be aspirational. So it'll be very difficult when you say, oh, we 100% guarantee that there will always be we didn't know this was not possible. But I think the greater question is we start asking questions now about some of the how some of these things will be done. Even if you wouldn't give us the whole house on the how, give us the foundation. Like you said, there will be road network connectivity. We don't want you to tell us you have something to come and design and how many coverts you will have in this place and stuff. It's just the how. The how are you going to maintain the how? Are you going to have go back to Tober Doe era where you had these various sub-sectors of public works ministry in these various counties and rural places that were taking care of the roads. LEC, now it's not a thing, but I remember back in the day you had these substations.
Right.
We had these substations so that you reduce the load so that you're not putting too much load on one. And that was the thing. And real quick before I go start, when the executive mansion caught on fire, and I went to Liberia, and people were arguing, oh, the poor monkey, the president, the marshal caught fire. Then I started to ask them, I said, did you calculate the load that you put on the generators? You have so many street lights. People were there attaching light, connecting wires and everything. Did you calculate? Because as an engineer, electrical engineer, you know that there is a load, there is a capacitance maximum that you don't put on a generator. You turn it into a firebomb. And that's what they did. And the executive mansion burned down. And they try to say people trying to get the president. No, you hire electricians from Ghana who weren't electrical engineers, because it's a difference. And they overloaded the ability and the capacity of the generators. And so this is where we got to start asking those questions. I am going to electrify all of Liberia. How? Is it going to be through man coffee alone? Because those are the questions we have to ask. Because then the technocrats will say that's not possible. Right? Are you going to do like public work used to do, where you have these sub-electrical stations? In Lofa County and Bon County, we have rivers that are running between us. We can still use those rivers to do hydroelectricity. You have in Cape Mount, you have the river, but then you also have what's the thing you have there? You have the wind power, right? That you can use for rubber sports. So what are you going to be using? I think this is what we're going to start asking the HAP. You don't have to tell us exactly how many wind turbines you're going to bring, but you got to tell us at least the foundation. And that's where I think we feel. Now, I have to be very fair on here, even though I think that the CDC has failed Liberia and that they don't deserve another chance. But we have to be fair when we analyze them. When Alice Johnson Sirleaf was elected president, she was the great hope of the nation. But
our economist.
But yeah, the Harvard trained economist, and the whole world was open up. Liberia was open for business. Comparatively, how many Liberians really collected money and gave to the government to do the things we're saying that we could have done for George Weah? We did. I think what we fail to recognize in the diaspora, I would not give $1. There's been people that say, oh, on this day, Liberia should collect money, we'll build one clinic. Then what? I build a clinic, then what? Who puts drugs in the clinic? Who pays the nurses in the clinic? Who takes care of that? I'm not going to do that. ULA went and bought a land at one point in time. I'm going to build a school to be administered by who? So that's the problem for me. If the government can create a safe environment, I think safety is where George Weah government has created a problem. If government can create a safe environment where I feel safe to go back home and invest, I can build my own a high school as a teacher, and I can use that to compete. George Weah is not stopping me from building a high school, but the prevailing economic and security climate prevents me from doing that. I think that's a fair conversation to have. But I don't think George Weah, even if he had come the very day he was elected to the United States and asked for money, I don't think a lot of people
This guy here, after what he's talking, is that something for us to really take to into cashier, and they're going to consider that as a check or even money order? He was willing to get this guy on the far right.
Maybe the man could not give me his money. But my point is, would that be a sound investment? There are people who do a lot of investing in America.
What I'm saying,
I would not do that investment.
I saw people here had their ego, willing, say they wanted to do everything to go to Liberia to do anything. So I'm saying if George Weah, maybe I say, hey, like what when Joe said, they must pay America debt. We should pay America debt.
They took
my resale money for that thing. I keep on Katiwa out there. I put my resale money in that bag there.
Yeah. So if George Weah come and say something, hey, some people are going to contribute. But as I was saying, the urban environment, that is one of the key problems in Liberia. Because people will be willing to take risks with the little money they got. But the security, the court, that if someone croak you, that you can go to the court to see redress immediately. Those are the things today that hammering the government development is a serious impediment to the growth of the country.
Well, let me push back specifically. Let me push back on the court issue. I went to Supreme Court, got redress, and I came on top. So the Supreme Court is working fine as far as I'm concerned.
Something too.
Progressive.
You never tell the Supreme Court that issue ruling and the government into it.
Didn't I say in here that before we come to
because you went to the Supreme Court, you got redress, so that means the entire Liberia is okay now with the Supreme Court.
I just want to make the point because if I sit here and let you bash the judiciary system as you just
but what wrong with he saying it? If the Supreme Court works
you
for
can
him,
say it, but I also have the right to say, okay, I agree. I mean, whatever you're saying, that's fine. But let me give you my butt. The Supreme Court and the judiciary system in Liberia. First, I went to Grand Jury. I won a case. The young man say he wasn't certified. He took me to the Supreme Court. I won the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court followed the rule, the law. I won the case. So I just want to give you that example.
So hold on. Was the ruling enforced?
Not yet.
That's the point. And that is the biggest problem. The Supreme Court will rule. Will it be enforced?
Well, I'm working on that. The rule is
something to that is ridiculous on your part to say that.
Well, that's what you think. That's what you think. But let me make
the Chief Justice, the former Chief of Court himself said that the court was corrupt.
Well, I mean, he might say that, but when time came for me, when I was in our court, What did you, Mr. Central, right? Let's do this. We got brothers and sisters that are devoting their time to serve Liberian people. Honestly, there are some who works at the Supreme Court. Now, you can't just brush everybody else as being corrupt or what have you. And so you're right to say that. But I'm saying to you that when I went in, I can't sit here and say, well, and allow your statement to go without me bringing some sort of a reasoning to say, yes, this.
I got a case in Liberia. I got a case in Liberia for 7 years.
Well, that's go log and sheep log. They're not the same. So
maybe you should ask a laborer for a lawyer, a law firm you use.
The lawyer that I have, the lawyer that I have, if every Liberian were to, and Mr. So knows about this, if every Liberian were to go to this guy, look, Mr. Sese, just I give you an example. Just recently when I went home, so he came, I sent for him, he came to Monrovia. We were supposed to go follow this case still. But when he came, because we didn't do anything, I offered to pay his way. He said no. That was not on the piece of paper that we agreed on. So he will not take a dime. And this is not his first time. Every time that when I pay him, if anything, he's in Monrovia. Whenever I pay him and there's money left over, like $100 or so, he will ask me whether he should send it back. And sometimes I will say, no, keep it. You know what he does? I'm not going to give his name. I'm not going to give his name. I will first of all.
You gotta pay for the man to give you commission.
No. Seriously. The man. First, let me give it to you. He's Bassa man. So
I don't know he tried.
Okay.
All right. So, the man who you are with, they just be quiet. Let it to them.
I don't know which one you're talking to.
Okay, but let me finish my point. Sometimes he will take that money without me knowing. He'll go and give it to my son. So this guy, it came a time, and I'm going to divulge that my big mouth is going to get me in trouble here tonight. But I would say so. It came a time I was so frustrated with the Supreme Court. I called him and offered to bribe people at the Supreme Court, and he said, Mr. To, we don't do that. There are people here, despite what you guys believe. I don't care. Let me finish. Mr. Central, right? You know me, I'm very truthful. So he said, no, we don't do that. Because we got people here in the Supreme Court, despite what most of you believe in the diaspora, bribing people here.
This is the guy you want to recruit to a gonglo, the one who wants to bribe the judicial system.
All we care for that.
The reason why I brought this up, this gentlemen and other people that are working at the Supreme Court are very straight people. Not all of them are corrupt. So I just bring that up. But let me make this one other point here about President Weah and the West Point says it may about safety and things. I think many of us at first, because I was at the inaugural program, 2018, I was at the inaugural program and I was moved, seriously, emotionally moved. But there was an incident. In fact, that same night, according to the leaked tape from the superintendent of Bond County,
Esther Walker?
She told us.
The Fanta woman?
Yeah. She told us.
The Fanta guy had in her hand.
She told us, your Madam Rush, these people are something else. And this is what happened. From that point on, many of us that watch this government have always pointed to that particular incident. And those who she said was running the show are truly running the show. And so from that point on, I think the security aspect of it, because if this government were to be sincere, they would have come out immediately. Not just, what did they do to her? They suspended her. But not just to suspend her, but refute her allegation strongly. None of these people went on air to talk about it. Nobody. They never said anything. Not the president, not Minister McGill, not Jefferson Kochi, Honorable Jefferson Kochi, not Honorable Samuel Twe. They all sat there, and what the president did was to suspend this woman, as though that the suspension should explain to us. From that point on, many Liberians realized that, okay, this is not what we thought would be. The disappointing started setting in, Mr. Saul.
Okay, so here we are, 173. This bitterness, political resentment with the ANC and the Unity Party, people have started making predictions. And if we were to narrow down with the incumbent, President Weah, they are saying Cummings will allow his folks have your well done. Decide for yourself. I'm not going to be the one to do that. Let me bring in ANC Amos George. Amos George, crucifixion starts already ahead of the game. That again, if it bows to President Weah, Ambassador Boyka, and for any reason, neither am I not saying that he Cummings will not go to the finale. Do you think he's going to have a different tone this time around? Because this seems to be the big rift, political rift with the ANC and that of the Unity Party. The Unity Party folks still have a conviction that the decisions or the actions of ANC Alexander Cummings robbed them out of the presidency, and that political bloodbath is still there.
Mr. So I don't like to speak for people, but I think Mr. Cummings is a decent man if it boiled down to a point.
When you stop speaking for people?
Yeah, exactly. I was just about ready to ask that question.
I said, I don't speak for people.
Why are you scrambling?
That's what he's been doing ever since he's been on that platform. He's been speaking for the names tonight. He wants
I
to
don't speak for the man. Mr. So asked a question. United Party people. I say, he talking about the views of United Party people. How can I speak for United Party people?
Oh, he said ANC, or he said ANC.
Yeah, the man read that. He said, United Party still have the belief that Cummings costing.
Mr. So please say this thing, but please ask a question, but so the public can answer the right question.
Actually, yeah, because something told.
You see what can happen when you get stubborn student in the classroom?
Anyway, I don't know. Gonglo, he gotta be careful. Even if he wins the presidency to have Sisi with him, not to mention the liberal I think Boyka already done with him. Because he came out here publicly announced and declared that the president gonna win the election. No, I was just saying, right? The saying is out there. You know, I know. That's the conviction, that's the beliefs of the Unity Party folks. That the decision by Cummings not aligning or not saying go and vote for Boyka, but he leaves it with their conscience, right? That it's been held against him, whether we like it or not. It's been held. I'm saying again, if we come to this point again, do you think was yet a lesson learned from that, or was this one going to be a worse case here? Do you think Cummings is going to address it differently?
Of course, there will be a lesson. There has been a lesson learned from that. And let me say this. Cummings and Honorable Boyka, they are not enemies. They have come a long way. Some of the people don't even know who make all the noise. I say people who sit on the fringes and talk all these things. So the way sometimes I look at it, other people look at it from a different angle. So this is the point. But if it came down to between Boyka and President Weah, Cummings definitely would vote for Honorable Boyka.
Will he be precise in his tone? That's what I'm asking.
I believe he'll be very precise.
If it doesn't?
Or if it doesn't, then of course there will be a problem for Mr. Cummings. Political problem, because
then he closed the door for him.
There's something. I'll say this. Where we are now, it's not about Cummings or Boyka or Tihuno. It's for the survival of Liberia. The people are suffering. So if it comes to that point,
who the people? You said people. You're being generous. The people, is that everybody suffering?
Mr. So if you have a country where 70,000 people are employed by government, The rest are what you call petty traders and things. Out of 5 million people, you think that country is on the right path? That's majority that are not working.
Okay. Just
That's
asking.
majority not working. If you check out the 70,000, what is the next institution that got
Just
100,000
one
employees?
send me a text because you were talking and you want to mean just to put finger in your throat because they don't. He doesn't like ANC folks. He and the liberal.
Who's that? Who?
Sissy and the liberal.
No. Sissy, Nana Sissy, don't even go there with him. Sissy.
What's about the liberal?
Mr. George is not being honest here this evening in answering that question. He's not giving it to us as it's supposed to. First he said he's not speaking for the people. He meant talking for the people. Sent almost 3-4 years now. Now he say he wants to talk for them. Conservative central right. I'm on the floor. Look, Mr. So here's the thing here you need to look at. These two gentlemen, these two honorable men, if they don't win the election, none of them coming back. Their political career is over. There's nothing here for Honorable Cummings and Ambassador Bakai. So there's nothing here for them to say, I'm going to protect for future. So here's what I'm going to predict. If either of them go second round, they're not going to, especially Cummings. Especially Cummings. If Cummings doesn't go second round, he's not even going to have a press conference to say, to talk to his supporter to say, you guys do whatever you want to do. If you feel like whatever party, he's not even going to address that. He would tell his supporter, thank you. He's not going to direct them towards Wakai, knowing what they've done to him. And the statement he made to me when he was here in Sacramento when I asked him that question, he said, when I meet you, I give you my trust before you can even ask for it. But if you abuse that trust and I take it away from you, for me to give it back to you, it becomes an issue.
So that's quite interesting.
It's our lie. It's our lie.
Who said lie?
So
I'm asking you, do you, if you trust somebody,
who running the show, you or Mr. So? Who running the show, you or Mr. Who running the show? Who running the show, that you or Mr. So?
I was on the floor. You cut me off. You were injecting.
Do you have something personal with Amos Joy, or is just the ANC?
No, it's just the ANC. He doesn't have that my brother there. He doesn't have anything personal with me.
I don't know ANC well. Neither do I know Amos Joy.
Before we go here, Sissy, Liberal mentioned something, and we're still hoping that Coming with show face on this network. He appeared here once. We give it to him, but there are other critical questions to ask. Liberal, I believe that has to do with he and Dent when they had a collaboration, where this whole fingering thing, he lose credibility, trust in those people. Is that what you think he was speaking about?
Yeah, exactly. Because I asked him that question. I asked him. I said, you coming from Coca-Cola, where you build your character.
Yeah, Coca-Cola.
Mr. So, the Liberal is on the floor, please. I ask him this question. You build your character at Coca-Cola, and you join these people. Were you not able to verify and you trusted them? He didn't push back on that. All he said was, Mr. To, one thing about me, he said, I'm just paraphrasing now, but I think if I can say I'm quoting it, I will be very close. He said, one thing about me, I liked when I meet you, when you and I start collaborating or whatever it is we're doing together, I give you my trust. But if you abuse that trust and I take it back, for you to earn it, it becomes difficult because I'm not willing now to give it back to you. So the point that I'm making here is, with that kind of statement and the way he was verified here, the way he was degraded, and Ambassador Baka said nothing.
I'm not sure what I said.
For months.
I've been looking.
For months. He said nothing. So for Cummings now if he doesn't come second, to say to his supporters with straight face, I strongly support the candidacy of Ambassador Boakai. Therefore, I urge all of my supporters to throw their weight behind Ambassador Boakai. I don't see it.
Okay, let's give it a fair conversation. Let's make it, Mr. Joyce, I'm coming. Let's give it a fair conversation. Let's make it proportional. On the flip side, do you think if Comey goes second, it comes to Boakai, would that be Black Dragon prevent the death of Bruce Lee?
Comey doesn't trust Boakai, and Comey will work as much hard.
No, what I'm saying, if Comey goes to, will Boakai do the same, or will he pay back because he did it to him?
Well, if here's the thing: if Boakai doesn't go second, Boakai will be pissed. He will not only be pissed. But Mr. Central Right, this is what you do.
No, but you're not answering my
answer. I'm not in a courthouse. You're not a lawyer. I don't have to answer your question.
You come here to justify why Comey will not do that. Now, when they flip the question around and say, "Let
me bring this in."
No, yeah, you see, this is the plan of you and the Central Right. He undermined my statement, and then you cut me off. Now you're gonna leave me without making my conclusion, and now you're gonna
go. You're wasting my time.
You see, before the Central Right came in here, all three of us were having some decent conversation. But the Central Right show us, now you flip on us. Go ahead, Sese, go ahead, please.
Okay, I'm going to give you the opportunity for the second time. The liberal progressive, let's make it proportional. The last time around, we all and you blowing the trumpet on this network that Comey did not do Dr. Boakai a favor either. So I'm asking, if the coins flips around, this time if Comey goes to be the runner-up, do you think Ambassador Boakai would do it the other way around, or will he pay back? Will he pay there?
I can answer in two ways, if you don't mind. One is, I truly believe Ambassador Boakai will not publicly, but will privately tell his supporters to go with Comey. Comey and his people, on the other hand, they most likely will not want to welcome Ambassador Boakai public announcement. They will want to work and say, we work this for ourselves. We were not helped.
You know something, though, you're not being fair and balanced on this program.
Hold on 1 second. Don't let a guy carry a blood cholesterol.
No, relax.
So, Sese, we are about to go home. There is, I don't know whether you breaking him over, and when you break in, there's nothing guaranteed that he even going to stay before 1 month time. Anybody he sees again, he's going to flap over. But from all indications, I think this is still unsettled within the Unity Party. And they are one of the two majors. You have the LPP, Tiawan Gonglo, and other people, but they are the two major. If they can't cement their political relationship and put aside and say, hey, that would be a problem, because their supporters, their surrogate, I don't see that happening. I don't see them doing that. Every time you listen to any of their people, the other side would take over 1 hour demonizing the other candidate instead of proffering the agenda of their candidate. That is not happening. When you listen to ANC folk, Boakai. When you listen to Boakai folks, Comey. That's dangerous.
So far be it from me to be the one to speak about who Vice President Boakai picks, or who Alexander Comey picks or goes with as a VP. I think my guy presents the alternative from this schoolboy, schoolgirl, broken relationship squabble that's going on between Ambassador Boakai and Alexander Benedict Comey. You know, when we're kids, sometimes our people then break out again and say, "Get my two bro, I don't want about RTB for you." Then they're going back and forth. How do people on right now? And for me, I think there are things that are way bigger. This is an existential elections for our Liberian people, and I think Ambassador Joseph Boakai and Honorable Benedict Alexander Benedict Comey ought to realize that there are bigger things than their egos and their bigger things, then they're hurt. And that whatever they can do to do whatever they need to do for Liberia will be great. But I said this on the platform the last time. I respect Alexander Benedict Cummings. I said this over and over, but for the fact that Tiawan Gonglo is a better alternative in my calculation, I will be with Cummings right now. Joseph Yuma Boakai has served the Republic of Liberia for a long time. He sacrificed a long time. So these are honorable people we're speaking about. My only problem is I don't know if Cummings and Boakai, if they can coexist in a political marriage after everything that's happened. It would take some leadership skills. And I'm not doubting that Cummings have the leadership skill. I mean, he's working Fortune 500, so he does have ability. And I'm sure he's handled some hostile acquisition and take over of other companies. And I'm sure he can do it. We're just waiting to see that. The problem that you're speaking to, does Cummings really have the power to drive votes to Boakai, even if he came out and said it? And vice versa, does Boakai really have the power to drive votes to Cummings? Because what is happening in Liberia is the difference between Cummings and Boakai. They're not looking at it on political ideology no more. This is personality cult they're looking at. So, because if the issue was about political ideology, then I would lay and say, for example, God forbid, my guy does not make it to round 2. And there is a Boakai and George Weah, or a Cummings and a George Weah. Then I have to look at the platforms and the political ideologies of the CDC and the Unity Party, the new Unity Party on JMB, because it's not an old Unity Party. Or look at the political ideology and platform of the CDC and the ANC and say, which one aligns more with my political ideology, political philosophy? Then let me go for that person, even if Tiawan Gonglo says I should go the other way. But that doesn't happen in Liberia. And it comes down to when we build these political courts and the political clubs, and we call them political parties, where no one person from any one political party can stand up and really articulate what the political philosophy, what makes LPP different from LP? What makes the CDC different from the ANC? Without calling people tiny CDC and saying people stupid. Like, look at the political ideology. We don't sit and synthesize that, and that's the problem. So even if Alexander Cummings were to come out and say, ANC, go and vote for Joseph Yuma Boakai, I guarantee you, not a lot of people will go do that. A lot of people will decide to just sit back home. And it's the same thing for the Unity Party. So there has to be a way for these people who run these political establishment to start to teach and start to train the people who follow them, including us, to start to look at political ideologies instead of looking at personalities. And I think that's the biggest problem we're having. Because if you look at this, it's the same way how ANC is in a collaboration with the frame of the Liberty Party. You go back, somebody take all the engine for inside, you get a frame. Then you say, yeah, we got it, people. And you think that's going to materialize into a vote or into you winning. And it's the same thing with the city, with the Unity Party, right? And so I think there is a time for political maturity, and that's why I keep talking about my guy. But if we're putting my guy on the side, I know ABC has dealt with hostile takeover of other companies. And he's managed to make sure that Coca-Cola acquisition of those companies were profitable. This is no different than what he's doing, what's happening between him and the Unity Party. So there has to be a way where the ANC, where Cummings bring to bear his vast knowledge and vast experience to bear. And since I'm not, party or privy to those private conversations, I don't want to sit on a public platform and say they're not happening. I really hope for the sake of Liberia that they're happening. Because I said on this platform, I'm not a fool. I really believe Tiawan Gonglo is the best option. But right now, Name recognition, which is huge in politics, goes to George Weah and Ambassador Boakai. Financial strength, the ability to raise money, which is very huge in politics, go to ANC. So my guy is way behind. And if these two giants who stand to unseat the CDC can find a way to put on their big boy pants and have a conversation, I think we be looking at something different.
Looking at something different. Well, the old man on the wall say it's time for us to go. But before we go, to put it into context, Amos George, at this point in time, and who is it fair? Can we be judgmental? Who is having the edge? The boycott, the comments, the ruling establishments of Ambassador Weah. Who is having the edge? The 73 seats that are at stake, more or less, are coming. You have the president now has dispatched the vice president going around. Listen, I know it's not anything. Maula say it's not campaigning. But
I thought the last time they said the porcupine out. Wait, what I want Eddie if you done.
Hey, bro. You would have seen guys say the porcupine is being put in the zoo. Then why were you have you on lose you on tie now? Yeah, but I mean what I'm saying, they're going here and there. Okay. The vice president is in the southeastern sideline and all of that. We can't overlook that. The presence of the administrations is being felt. The presence of the running mate of the sitting president is being felt. Somebody is there reminding a voter, yes, I am on the ticket with Mr. A and we will be seeking re-election. As compared to where there's no one. That itself is a big political disadvantage, whether we like it or not. And the assumption that, okay, we all drawing the assumption, things are, so Liberian people they're gonna do it their way. I'll tell you for sure. Those are just opinions. That's not everybody. When you talk to individuals differently, they're gonna have a different interpretation. One, the government is the highest employer. Who do you think want to go out of job? You think the superintendent of Grand Cayman County, Bond County want to go out of job? The city mayor, the police chief, the immigration, and they have their household attachment? Of course. So that itself, even though they're going to have their own secret vote, but in itself, they want to retain their positions. So the probability of them maintaining what they have is most likely than voting for something that they do not have. That's another disadvantage on the part of the opposition. To make a final statement. Emo George.
Yeah, look, for any incumbent to unseat another incumbent is hard. And these are some of the advantages they have, because he can dispatch the vice president to Grand Crew on a, say, she going for a working visit. That's it. So those are the advantages they have, the incumbent. But Liberia, if it were like year, then we'll be talking different thing. Because the vice president going to keep departments of Grand Crew. The question, if people think the way that some are thinking, if they ask our vice president in HAPO, 6 years, what has been done in HAPO by central government to change the lifestyle of those people?
Who asked that question?
What has been done in Sano? But again, the society don't vote on those issues. They vote on like name, sentiment. So those are some of the issues. So yeah, the incumbent always has the advantage. Like when Cummings came to Atlanta last night, I went to this, and there were people who came from different areas, from different parts of Liberia, brought documents, what they drained it. But this thing is not being aired. So, but as we said, the government has they control the coffer. The president can say today he going to Nima. It will be a form of campaigning, but you can't say he campaigning. So those are advantages the sitting government has.
Okay.
But let me just close on this note. I always say this thing here, Barker and Mr. Cummings. It should not be about these two people. It should be about Liberia. And I've said over on this thing, I said, if these people don't do anything to work together in form or shape, tomorrow, nobody should come and say this group did this. Because as Sister said, there are things other people have done. In politics, these things happen. People can, we saw Joe Biden and Kamala Harris here. We saw that here. When Kamala Harris accused Joe Biden of putting incarcerating black men and killing them in jail for drugs, for that drugs of war. But they were able to bury that thing and move on. So what is this? Now, Cummings and Barker, if at all, the way some Liberians I'm seeing, that these two people might go on a ticket, would that be an obstacle that to prevent them tomorrow? They will come and say, oh, we couldn't this and that, and Joe will become president to go be re-elected for another 6 years? Will any of the people have the face to talk to me or their supporters? Most of the people who talk to them are people who sitting on the fringe, or sometimes are people who enjoy from these people. So they come and say some of the crap that will say that the pain that some of the people are going through is not important. Because I see both sides. Some of the supporters, some of the Barker supporters, I see them saying some horrible. I've been holding my head. Why are you people? Is it the country or individual? It's like a court. They're not looking at the country, but they look at the individual. That is the problem. And we have to call it what it is. We have to say it. If it is about Liberia, then people should put their ego aside. And those who support them should start talking so many crap here, because it will not help the people. Because some of them are only doing that. Hey, when Cummings come to power, they be riding a big car. When Barker come to power, they ride a big car. The very people, and then they will start telling people, where were you? When we're talking, when we're struggling, where were you people?
Liberal, your final word.
Thank you very much and good night.
The liberal progressive. Okay, guys. Well, that's how we're gonna bring it. Sister, you close, all right? You close. You close. No, I mean you're talking.
No, it's okay. I like to hear the two old men making flower holding. So I close already. Yeah, I want to give my extra time to something.
You say what?
I gave my extra time to Mr. To to close. My closing time, give it to Mr. To.
You sure that the right guy is
Mr. Santos, I will wait my time to you.
Mr. To closer to me. Ne papa in Georgia, he won't come as so Mr. To already wait for me. Let me get you small more.
Oh boy.
Thank you very much, Sissy, for the generous act. But I say thank you very much and good night, folks.
Oh, yeah, they say your okay. They say Akaya Graden. They say Serene Maria now. They can't bear it.
I think one thing we need to do though is that
how can we get your guys?
There are a lot of
Sissy, can you get your guys what your man Gonglo, what he represents, what he hopes to do? Let's start to review these people.
You want him to come on, or you want other people to come and talk about what he stands for and what he was doing? Which one?
Well, maybe if there's a way we can find a platform. I mean, I would love to see him here. Hopefully, if you can work on that too, that would be great.
I can work on getting him to appear, but if he cannot appear, I can guarantee that I can show people from the LPP or people on his political campaign. Not people on the fringes, but people that are within.
Yeah, I don't talk about these little chihuahua. I'm talking about people who, when they say,
I mean people that when they say something, you will know it came from them.
The liberal. Can you get somebody from the boycott?
I don't know these people. I just admire them.
Oh my goodness!
I mean, but on a serious note, I can bring you the press people, the publicity team. I'm on it, but I will get off it, and they will bring serious LPP people and people with Gonglo to come.
I think we have been heavily distracted, and it's just been a disservice to the Liberian people. One, because we should be talking about their policy, their agenda, their plan.
Who distracted again? Talking about here? Who distracted again?
Your people. Then we're not getting anything out of them. So we are compared.
You want to interview me for I'm part of his press and publicity team. I'm also on his education platform. I'm also on his platform.
He's talking for them, so it means everything.
No, I'm not talking for them right now. I'm talking for LPR right now. Anything I say right now, it is because of LPR.
I'm talking about the liberal. He walked back out there when he read it. Then he said,
but on a serious note, though, Mr. So you're right. I think we ought to start bringing these people, and they're serious surrogates, not just friends.
I am a surrogate. I can be a good surrogate for any
serious one. I put serious as a qualifier. Serious
and that's
surrogate.
what I said. And I think you're serious. I am a serious. I said I am a serious surrogate for any. I can be
the people.
But on a serious note, though, Mr. So, I think we also have to start. We can be on this platform talking about the how civic education is falling aside, but we're not bringing on legislative candidates. At least those people who have declared their intention. I will be in a few of their inboxes this weekend, telling them to show up, and if they don't show up, we'll be a shit. I will publicly be a shit. I say, I told you to come and tell the Brepo where you stay for, because this is what happens.
I'm supposed to be
focused on the presidency, and a lot of these people slide underneath, and then we find out that they're not making laws that benefit the people. Then we say, oh, but how did the guy over there? How did we be the guy over there? We need to start bringing those people on these platforms. We don't
Thank
just
you,
focus on the
but I do intend to spend 2 hours here, hoping to connect with Costa and have him on LPR for 2 hours, because I think it will be a very, very serious candidate and formidable candidate.
You're seeing the difference now, right? The difference between an advocate and a politician.
I've been saying it all the time.
When he was the advocate, they push out the whole city. As a politician, now the last time he was speaking here, whole group say whatever he say does not represent COP. Right in front of him, when we speak, I laugh that day. I just laughed. I just laughed.
Correctness. Yeah. And Mr. George, you are a strong advocate of ANC. We need to. That's the first branch of government people. We need to talk to them. Not the ones that we know. Sometimes we talk to them. They agree. At the end of the day, they cut off. But there's a guy 1 year kid contesting district number 10. I think all of these people, they are a factor. We need to talk to them as well, and so that we know who they are, what they represent, and if they are elected to go in the first branch of government, how their decision voting processes, and who they're going to caucus with. Even though that's not something they usually, but we need to start asking that guy.
I think we should also bring on Josephine Davis. We should also bring on Yeke Kolba. We should bring on Akaras Gray. And all those people, let them come and talk. Let them move from their comfort zone. I know my cousin Yeke is comfortable on the.
Find out where Yeke Kolba.
No, Yeke Kolba is my. I can reach out to him, but we need to get these people like Jefferson, like Josephine Davis, that's running. We need to get them off this platform where they're too comfortable and come on this kind of platform to answer questions.
This platform here is different from whatever platform. I don't want to go there, but okay.
All right.
You can't hear. So reach your man out there. Okay, guys, thank you so much and have a pleasant evening. Sisi Goyot, the Liberal Progressive Samson Roku Branto. I am Alfonso Zienso of the Liberia Public Radio. We want to thank you so much for your time this evening. If this is the first time, we said you're wholeheartedly to welcome. We have some critical conversation here, not necessarily in that suit your political taste. We try to make our conversation proportional, fair, balanced. And if you support any of these folks that are contesting, be it the first or the upper house, then also let us know, send their numbers, and we can reach out to them so that we can invite them as well. We need to know who they are and what they represent as well. We can't just leave it with the executive branch of government. These people, they have a greater share into this, and we must question them as well. We want to thank you so much for your time this evening, by God's willing. Same time saying, all right, Aaron, that would be cool. Join us next week. Let us know. If you're part of our organizations or institutions always in the business of hosting the homecoming convention, let us know. This coming weekend, we're in Des Moines, Iowa, of a local organization, Putoa Polabo. This is one of the host chapter queen when she was entering. Unfortunately, at the end of the day, Philadelphia took it away. That's the beauty of African Queens. That was in Des Moines, Iowa, put to a Polyboard Association's annual conventions. One of the contestants, home state. But as the saying goes nowadays, no home advantage. If you have the resources, you take it away. Philadelphia Queen contestant Conduct Salif walk away with the crown. Iowa away, Minnesota contested. So there's no home advantage. You have the resources, you win it. And that was images courtesy of Liberia Public Radio. I was there as a master of ceremony. It was a colorful event. Over $32,000 raised at that convention. That is to show Liberians far and near are willing to invest to do more. If we can hold leaders accountable, not just national leaders, but leaders right here on our feet, they must also be held accountable of funds raised. We want to thank you so much. Just in case you have an event, conventions, you need coverage, let us know it. If there's no way, we'll find it. Until then, have a pleasant evening. Bye-bye.
Government, it did not meet your core values?
I resign. Before I resign, I issue a 13-page press statement. It's on the internet. If you check, you'll find it. And then the president subsequently called me back into government because at that time, she had sent all the cabinet ministers home for 2 weeks compulsory leave. I was one of those that she called back. And I said, no, I'm not coming back into your government because what I believe you will do is not what you are doing. This country went into civil conflict and over 300,000 people were killed because of bad governance. And I see the same thing
happening,
being done by you. The same thing is happening.
That's what you told the president?
Yes, in a conversation with her. And I said, thank you, but I'm not coming back to the government. Anything good in Liberia. Louis Brown was National Security Advisor to Charles Taylor, man. That was the time I was tortured.
This seems to me ANC now.
Let them be redeeming themselves. They laid the foundation for the suffering that is happening today. No. It's not in good faith. Isn't it the same Louis Brown who said to President Salif, Kennedy president, that no one since 1847 has so desecrated the executive mansion equal to President Kennedy, Ellen Johnson Salif. It was not even a month after he was appointed to be Minister of Information for that same President Salif. And he was propagating everything. When he was asked by the journalist, he said, you know, when you are far from President Salif, you see a bad woman. When you come close to her, you see a good person. That sounded very opportunistic to me.
for being here, and especially in these difficult times. I thank the Liberian people for their kind attention. All over this country, in every village and town, across every region and community, from mosques to churches, from markets